All right, if you were with us earlier, we hopped back off for a second because we saw some signs of weakening rotation, but now that rotation has kicked back up again. We do have a tornado warning in Washington County and into Madison County. Here's a look at that rotation right now, based off our shear rate. Just outside of Winslow is where that tightest rotation is right now. Again, this is not a confirmed tornado. This is just indicated rotation right now, producing some quarter-size hail, up to quarter-size hail, and that broad level rotation. So let's take a look at sweeping radar, and that's exactly where that broad level rotation is right now, where you see that hook. I'll loop it here for you. That's where they're pointing out that rotation is right now. So this is past Winslow. This is moving towards Hazel Valley. So again, radar indicated rotation into Washington County, moving into Madison County. A tornado warning has just been issued in southern Washington County and into southern Madison County for this broad rotation that is continuing to push deeper into Washington County. Look at the terrain here. These are deep into the mountains where we're seeing this upper level rotation right now. Again, just that radar indicated rotation, so we could see a tornado drop at any time. But it's not tight enough for them to officially say whether we have a confirmed tornado on the ground or not. Again, that's very slight rotation, but just tight enough for them to issue that tornado warning. Again, moving into Hazel Valley here very shortly, very deep, deep, deep in the mountains. Let's take a look at that hail, producing some small penny-sized hail. Velocity is a mess right now. Just some very strong winds. Really the best chance we're going to see a tornado form is just south of Brentwood, moving deep into the mountains. Let's pull up sweeping radar, see if we can see that hook still. It's slight, but it's in there. You see that small hook right there. So again, if you are in southern Washington County, near Hazel Valley, just east of Winslow, this is continuing into Thompson, Asher, Combs, Japton, into deeper into Madison County. You need to be in your safe spot because we could see a tornado start to form. That's the look at that velocity. The best look that we're going to get is from the shear rate. And you can see how it fell apart, but started to redevelop. All right, we're going to go on air here in a second. All right. If you're tuning in with us tonight, I'm 5 News meteorologist Stephen Elmore. We do have a tornado warning in Washington and into Madison County. We're taking a look at the rotation that we're watching right now. This is for radar indicated rotation. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but another tornado warning this evening. This is following the same trend that we saw from our previous tornado warning. That was in Adair County, where it's nothing confirmed. It's upper level rotation that's strong enough and tight enough to be able to produce that tornado warning deep, deep, deep into the mountains. So again, just outside of Brentwood, moving into Hazel Valley. That's where we're going to be tracking this potential rotation. So here's a look at that rotation, moving into the mountains. Again, Hazel Valley, you got about, what time is it? About 5 minutes here before this rotation is moving right over you. radar indicated rotation. Winslow saw some light rotation, but it's not strong enough. That's where the main cell is right there, just southeast of Brentwood. I'm going to try to do velocity again, see if we can get another radar site, a better view at it, but it is a complete mess right now. We're going to have to go with Fort Smith's radar site and see if we can find this rotation. When it's way up in the mountains, it is so hard to find, but that Hazel Valley rotation right there, that's where that strongest rotation is. That's why they continue to pop up with this tornado warning. So again, if you see your neighborhood, you see your community within that tornado warning polygon, it's time to seek shelter immediately. Put as many walls in between you and the outside. We're talking those bathtubs. We're talking those basements if you have them. Get away from the windows. You never know when that debris could fly in and hit a window and come inside your home. Again, this is just those strong wind gusts right now with upper level rotation that is producing the chances of seeing a tornado. This is our CC. This is going to pick up any debris. Not seeing much of that debris core right now. Shear rate. Yep, we've got some tightening rotation right now. This is crossing over into Washington County. We could potentially see this tightening up enough to get confirmation. We are keeping an eye on our National Weather Service chat, but this is really starting to tighten up. So let's take a look at that sweeping radar. All those notches in there, right next to crosses, just past Hazel Valley now, continuing to now push in more mainly into Madison County. You're most likely going to see them trim down Washington County. Now we're starting to push deeper into the Boston Mountains where we're seeing these notches still very high up in elevation, where we're seeing these notches that are producing that upper level rotation that could start to produce a tornado. Shear rate is going to be our best friend right now, because when we're that high up, it is hard to see based off velocity readings of where exactly that rotation is. That is some very strong rotation deep in the Boston Mountains, producing some very strong winds. I want to pull up those winds and see what we're looking at. Up to, let's see here, up to 60 plus mile per hour winds. Definitely going to have some tree damage if you've got some communities in here. Very rural, but it's there. That's where that rotation is. St. Paul area, that rotation is just towards the west and a little bit towards the north of you. Combs area, this is up towards the north. Brandon, this is up towards the north. Crosses area is really where we're looking at the tightest rotation right now. That's going to provide the opportunity of maybe starting to see a funnel start to develop, or maybe even the potential of seeing a confirmed tornado. Our National Weather Service is typing something up for us. We'll wait to see what that latest is going to be. I want to track the direction this is heading. I believe it's heading just towards the east. Crosses area, you need to find your safe spot right now. That is some tight rotation right there. We could see a tornado drop at any second here. That is where that tightest rotation is going to be. Japton area, this is towards the south of you. Crosses area is where that rotation is going to be. Keeping an eye on the National Weather Service chat. This is, if not already, very close to producing a tornado right now. Once you start to see that red color pop up there in southern Madison County, this is where that tightest rotation is, and this is where we could see a tornado being formed, if not already. Again, when we're this high up in elevation, it is very hard to see based off of the terrain and our radar site where we are seeing the tightest rotation. But if you're in the crosses area, in southern Madison County, you need to find that safe spot. You need to put as many walls in between you and the outdoors as possible. Get away from the windows and prepare to potentially see a funnel start to develop, if not anything, some very strong damaging winds moving in. This has continued to tighten. I'm going to try to see if we can see any type of notch or anything with our velocity, but it is so messed up right now because we're so high up in those mountains. But again, if it is starting to form, it looks to be just outside the crosses area, right there. Very, very rural area, very, very mountainous. We're in some deep terrain here, but that's why they've issued this tornado warning, because we're starting to see some very, very tight rotation. And it's continuing right in that area, just right around crosses. I'm going to try to pull up some roads here if by chance we have anybody in these areas watching us this early in the morning. County Road 5, what does that say? 5205, that's where that tightest rotation is going to be. County Road 5205 is where that tightest rotation is going to be. They are cutting Washington County out of the tornado warning, but continuing it for Madison County. County Road 5440 is in the path of that tightest rotation. So here's a look at that new tornado warning. Washington County eliminated now. Now we're just into Madison County, but producing some very, very tight rotation. So I'm going to zoom in extremely close here. Again, we're talking about county roads here. Some of these don't even have the lettering for us. County Road 5225 and County Road 5205. That is where that tightest rotation is. County Road 5185. That is where that tightest rotation is, and we could potentially be seeing a potential tornado moving within southern Madison County right now. Again, we have to base this off that shear rate because I'll show you the velocity, and it's just a complete mess right now because we're such in a deep terrain where that radar site can't pick up where that tightest rotation is. If you're just joining us on air right now, again, if you're in southern Madison County, tornado warning. This has not been confirmed yet, but this is some very, very tight rotation to where we could see the National Weather Service try to confirm it the best they can. With it being that dark outside and not much rainfall, there's most likely not going to be a spotter to be able to see anything. And we have no cameras out there because it's such deep terrain, so they're going to have to base this off purely radar. Let's take a look at that shear. Haven't gotten that latest update yet, but I want to loop it over the past 15 minutes. And we're still starting to see right around that crosses area is where that tightest rotation is going to be. And we're really just waiting to see if the National Weather Service sees something that we don't. But they're continuing on with this tornado warning deep into the mountains of Madison County. And that's where that tightest rotation is going to be. While we step away from this really quick, I just want to show you the rest of the activity we have. Absolutely nothing. No other severe warnings across northwest Arkansas or the River Valley. We may be seeing some of those isolated thunderstorms into Sequoia and Crawford and southern Washington County, but right now the strongest cell is in southern Madison County, and that's the only reason we have that tornado warning right now. Again, this is unconfirmed. This is for radar indicated rotation, but with showing a signature that's strong, it is some very tight rotation happening near the Crosses area, south of Thompson, St. Paul area. You're well away from this, but you're still just outside of the tornado warning. I'm going to go ahead and track this out. So again, we are in some very rural communities here. We're moving towards Red Star, Venus. Southern Madison County is exactly what we're looking at right now, potentially seeing some rotation potentially form a tornado. This is the strongest rotation we've seen so far tonight. We're trying to look at the CC, which will show us any type of debris ball. But it's just too much terrain up there to get a good reading. The hail cores match up exactly where that tightest rotation is right now. Again, this is not confirmed. Those who are joining us either on air or on our live streaming platforms, this is just a radar indicated rotation tornado warning that is producing some very tight rotation. And there's that latest update. Weakening in that rotation, still very strong. Again, we are so rural. I mean, it's hard to pick out a community here. Nothing is popping up on our maps, but this is now east of Crosses, north of Calms, northwest of St. Paul, south of Asher. All we have to go off right now are these county road names. So the closest county road to that tightest rotation is County Road 5352. If you're familiar with that area, 5347 and 5395. That is exactly where our tightest rotation is. Let's pull up velocity and see if we can see something. If anything, from that shear scan to this following one that we got, we're seeing a sign of hopefully weakening, because we're not seeing that bright orange spot anymore like we did in that last update. So we had some really tight rotation in that Crosses area, and as we continue to push off towards the east, we're seeing less of that rotation, but still a pretty good strong radar signature right there from that shear rate. Winter area, be on the lookout. If you are anywhere in this tornado warning, even though the rotation is just south of Japton, I know there's a lot of people in and around that community, Asher community, you got to be in your safe spot. Even when this rotation isn't directly over you, this cell is capable of producing some of that rotation. Let's pull up those hail cores. Hail cores seem to be lagging behind just a bit, maybe showing some signs of weakening as well. Velocity is really not helping us out much. And the CC is really not helping us out that much. If anything, that could potentially be our debris ball. It is so hard to tell when you get up into these mountainous areas. This tornado warning is going out until 2:30 a.m. Again, for radar indicated rotation, southwest of Japton, low level rotation, and it's moving very quickly, moving east at 55 miles per hour. Again, if you were, I know our live stream right now, the tag is severe thunderstorm warning in Washington County. It has since moved on to Madison County. Washington County, you are in the clear. Now we are into southern Madison County, deep into the mountains. All these little notches right here are the potential to see some of that low-level rotation north of St. Paul, northwest of Boston, and just south of Japton. We are in some really rural areas here. But the communities that are in this tornado warning, again, some low-level rotation that has not yet produced a tornado, but at any point could potentially produce one. We're checking our National Weather Service Tulsa chat. Unfortunately, they are having some network connectivity problems. Just trying to get some more information on exactly where this tightest rotation is. We've got some reports of some limbs down near where this rotation is. So it could show signs of that we had something move through there. They're cutting down that tornado warning again. Now that tightest rotation is outside of Witter. Venus, Reynolds, Weathers, you're still all in this tornado warning. This is, again, for radar indicated rotation, that latest, let's see here, let's get rid of that. Definitely less of rotation. It's not as tight anymore. We're just south of Witter. We're starting to see some of that rotation still in the atmosphere. They're continuing to cut this down though. So it's definitely not as strong as it was, but if you were with us about 10, 15 minutes ago, boy, we had some tight rotation that moved right through the crosses area. So we might have had a tornado touchdown briefly. The National Weather Service out of Tulsa will have to do their own investigation and come through there. To see if we did or not, if there was enough damage. But we had some tight rotation deep in the mountains there in crosses. Now, folks that live in Witter, get to your safe spot. This is still some low-level, tight rotation, but nothing has been confirmed. Just following this shear rate, because that is our best friend right now, because it is very hard to get a good reading when it's that high of terrain and the radar beam cannot get past that thick terrain that we're dealing with in Madison County. Good news is, we're not going to say names out of our Facebook group, but I'm reading right now that in Japton we had some hail, and that we have someone from Crosses who says that there was nothing there right now. That was a couple minutes ago. So that's some good news. We have to let the National Weather Service do their own report to see if we had anything, but the rotation is definitely less than what we had when it was over Crosses. So we're going to continue to follow this rotation as it continues further east, deeper into southern Madison County. Again, I'll show those. Witter is the nearest community. County Road 3456 and County Road 3175, I believe, is at least what our maps are showing, is where that tightest rotation is. So I'm going to step away from this for a second and get a wider look at our viewing area for those who are tuning in. And if you're wondering if your community is next, we have some isolated thunderstorms in and around the Chester area, Winslow area, not producing any thunderstorms capable of producing that severe thunderstorm level right now, just some good heavy rainfall. Hopefully we're trending towards a direction where we continue to weaken, but that's actually giving us a good sign right now. That tightest rotation might be closer towards the Venus area now. County Road 3345 is where we're seeing that tightest rotation. Let's see if that matches up with the shear rate. It definitely would match up with the direction it's heading, even if we haven't got an update from that shear. It could be making that eastern turn rather than that northeastern turn, and exactly that's what happened. So now making that eastern turn, Venus area, tighter rotation than that previous slide. You need to be in your safe spot right now. We're starting to see that low-level rotation start to kick back up once again. And I am really appreciative of some folks that are awake with us early in the morning and are familiar with these county roads. So Madison County 5205, no damage. That's a good sign. And Crosses 5430 is clear, and just east of it is clear as well. So thank you so much for those reports coming in. If you're in the Venus area, again, tornado warning right now for radar indicated rotation. Nothing is confirmed just yet. This is for County Road 3345. If you got friends and family in the area, that's where that rotation is going to be heading next. And that tightest rotation is 3370 and 3350. So they are extending this tornado warning into Newton County, which is not our viewing area, but stations in our sister station, THV 11, is going to be tracking that next cell as it crosses over from one DMA to the next. We're going to follow this as long as it continues through Madison County. So again, let's name those county roads again for folks that are familiar with that area. County Road 3350 and County Road 3370 is where that tightest green rotation is right now. If you're in the Venus area, this rotation is now making that eastward trend. We can confirm that through how they extended that into Newton County, no longer that northeastern trend, but going directly east now. That's where that tightest rotation is going to be heading next. We are waiting to see what that next radar loop from our shear rate is going to be, because we've pulled it up a couple times here, but if we take a look at velocity, the tightest rotation is right over Venus right now. That's actually a pretty good look at it. You see that bright yellow orange color, Venus area. You need to be in your safe spot right now in case we do start to see that funnel start to drop. But it is producing some tight rotation. If we take a look at the CC, you can't tell much right there. Maybe towards the south side of Venus. It is very hard to tell in these very mountainous areas. We can confirm it though based off of where the greatest hail cores are. And so it's making that eastern trend right into Venus. Even if we can't pick it up on velocity, which it looks like it is picking up a pretty good signature right there in the Venus area where those strongest winds are right now and some low-level rotation is. I'm going to go back to shear rate because that is going to be our best bet. And there's that latest update. Venus area, tightest rotation is right on your doorstep. If we were to get a tornado, it would be coming from the west to east side of Venus. County Road 3345 and County Road 3355, 3350. Coming right off of the mountains into Venus is where that tightest rotation is based off of our shear rate. The hail is weakening. That's a good sign. And it looks like that rotation is now moving east past Venus now and into Newton County here very shortly. So that tightest rotation is right over Venus right now. Very loud, very windy. Good news is it's not as strong as a rotation as it was earlier, but we've seen, I'm going to loop this over the past 30 minutes and just show you how long we've been following this rotation. Ever since crosses, this rotation has continued all the way now through Venus. So it's somewhere, even if we don't end up getting a confirmed tornado report from this, either tomorrow or later on this week, this is the potential path of where we could see some damage. From crosses all the way through Venus. All right, so we're getting an update from the National Weather Service that they're talking about some stronger inflow, which would then lead us to believe that there is some tighter rotation. In the weathers area, you need to be in your safe spot right now. Potentially could see a tornado drop at any second. Really strong rotations past Venus now, moving south of weathers. Let's take a look at that shear. Still hasn't got that latest update yet. But we're about to cross over into Newton County, which again, while that's not our viewing area, our sister station from THV 11 will handle that. So we believe that that tightest rotation is right over weathers right now. Again, radar indicated rotation, nothing has been confirmed, but we are starting to get some damage reports from crosses to Venus about downed tree limbs and some other minor damage reports. Here's that latest shear rate. Again, still producing some tight rotation deep into the Boston Mountains. Weathers, let's name out these county roads. Again, we are very appreciative of the folks that are in and around this area that are giving some damage reports. I can't even read that. Penmount Road and County Road 3619 is where we're seeing that tightest rotation right now, just towards the southwest of Weathers. I think we're starting to get some decent returns out of Weathers. And it looks like we're right on that county line right now between Madison and into Newton County. We take it DMA wide and show just the rainfall. That's our strongest cell, obviously, but we have some other strong cells moving closer towards Mountainburg into the Winslow area as well. Let's pull up the shear back here. Maybe seeing some low-level rotation near Natural Dam. Just that one blip, though. Nothing too much to worry about right now. Hail cores, nothing showing up. CC, nothing showing up. So just that, maybe some low-level rotation in Crawford County. Obviously, the greatest rotation right now is crossing just over Weathers right now, and eventually that's going to be into Newton County. So this severe thunderstorm, or excuse me, tornado warning goes out for another 13 minutes. I imagine they'll cut this down here very shortly. Because the rotation is past Venus now and just southwest of Weathers. And we're still keeping an eye. I actually don't even, there it is. Some low level rotation just towards the south west of Natural Dam. Not too much to be concerned about right now. Weathers, though, that's that tightest rotation. That's why we have that tornado warning. And I don't know if we're ever to get this confirmed, which is a good thing, obviously. We don't want to have a confirmed tornado tonight, but it has certainly produced a really good signature from crosses through Venus, now into Weathers, of some low-level rotation and some strong low-level rotation at that, to the point where We've already heard about some just tree damage reports, no houses, no communities yet. But this morning, we will definitely be finding out more information about some potential damage across southern Madison County. As soon as that rotation moves out of weathers, we're going to wrap things up. Our folks here tonight have done some really amazing work staying this late in the evening. Again, folks who are maybe waking up for work here pretty soon and wanting to know what the severe level threat is. If you're in Madison County, again, we have that tornado warning right now showing some very low signs of some low level rotation. Nothing has been confirmed. Outside of that, some isolated thunderstorms moving out of northern Crawford County into the Winslow area right now. Mountainburg seeing some of those stronger storms. No hail right now being produced. Some signs of some low level rotation. Cedarville area. Got some rain potentially just to the north of you. But overall, just some heavy rainfall right now. Again, that low-level rotation is near, but it's not a good enough sign for even the National Weather Service to talk about or for me really to be concerned about right now. I think that might just be a small rotation. Poto seeing some of those scattered showers. Waldron seeing some of those scattered showers. And we're just following this tornado warning that's still in Madison County. And it's about to cross over into Newton County. So this goes out for another 9 minutes. They will not, they might trim down this warning before then. But definitely the threat level in Madison County is coming to an end. And that'll now cross over just over the county line into Newton. Yep, and that rotation that we were talking about just south of Natural Dam, north of Cedarville, is already gone. So that wasn't much to worry about. Just a small rotation in that cell that's already died out. National Weather Service isn't talking about it. I'll pull up radar real quick for you. Lee Creek getting a good downpour right now. Natural Dam getting a good downpour just north of Chester. Blackburn and into Winslow, going to see some of those showers as well. Just north of Alma, hey, Fort Smith finally got some rainfall today. Seeing some, losing my voice. Seeing some of those scattered showers just outside Fort Smith right now. Arcoma, I had a fire earlier on today on Highway 71. Panama, Spiro, seeing some of those showers. Let's get the latest update on this shear. Still hanging around near Weathers, that low-level rotation. And I believe they are going to let that expire when it comes time. Still talking about the potential of some damage reports coming out of Madison County. Right now, nothing structural, just tree limbs. I'm going to run it back 45 minutes and loop this. And so when you potentially hear us talking about it tomorrow, Winslow tracking through Venus and now into Newton County. That is the line that we potentially had some damage through. Maybe a tornado touchdown and crosses. We'll have to go there and determine the damage ourselves. But that was definitely our greatest rotation. Nothing was ever confirmed. But we had that dark red spot of that tightest rotation across crosses, moved into Venus, produced some tighter rotation, and now moving into weathers. I believe that rotation is mainly out of Madison County now, and it's going to be tossed over to Newton County. So we'll keep an eye on these isolated thunderstorms that are across the river valley right now. They don't look like they're going to be producing much of anything. I'll take a final look at these. There are some pretty good thunderstorms, but there is no hail. That is the hail from earlier. Currently, nothing showing up on shear. And if we take a look at velocity, maybe some stronger winds crossing over Highway 71 into Mountainburg and Chester area. But just some good thunderstorms right now. And that rotation is in Newton County now. So, in the next 4 minutes, this tornado warning is expected to expire from Madison County. And it just did. It's not going to disappear until 2:30, but the National Weather Service is confirming that the tornado warning in Madison County is going to expire. So we're going to wrap things up here, folks, and we will get back to you when the National Weather Service works with us on the potential of seeing that tornado risk that happened through crosses through Venus. But that was where that tightest rotation was. Now we're starting to see some of those scattered showers develop across portions of southern Washington County and into northern Crawford County. We're going to hop off air real quick. And if we have any more information to get through tonight, we'll be able to hop back on our live streaming platforms. But we're going to go ahead and get off air right now and continue on our live streaming platforms. Just waiting on. All right, we are clear from on air. All right. So we're going to go ahead and wrap things up, folks. We are currently warning free right now that they're going to let that tornado warning expire. We'll continue to follow these thunderstorms that are in Washington, Crawford, and Sequoia County. But overall, the severe limit shouldn't be very great. Just some good isolated thunderstorms early this morning. So we're going to wrap things up. As always, keep it here, keep it local. As always, we'll keep you advised.